What's up, everyone? It's your boy Ailurus, and today we're doing another installment of the r/EntitledParents series. So, to those who are new to the channel and aren't quite aware with the no commentary story reading style of video, that's exactly what you're watching here. I'm not going to add a lot of commentary. All I'm going to do is just make sure you guys have something to listen to while you're chilling, or while you're playing video games, or eating, or drawing, or maybe even want to hang out with me, your favorite panda boy. So yeah, with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Alright, to begin the video, our first story comes from user Ali1289. Okay, so I got engaged a few years ago, and my fiance and I started planning our wedding when my future mother-in-law offered to pay for half of it. We were touched and told her it was too much, but she insisted. A few weeks later, we tell her about the venue we've picked. We want to get married in a church my grandparents did, and it was a few minutes walk away from the park where I met my husband, so we could get pictures there too. But of course, my mother-in-law had an issue with it. She told us we couldn't, as Catholic weddings are stuffy and lifeless. I'm a Catholic, and faith is important to me. She eventually backed off about the location, but then it was bridesmaid dresses. My grandma was making the flower girl dresses, and my mother-in-law asked me to send the link to the adult bridesmaid dresses for my two bridesmaids. A week later, I picked them up at the shop. The dresses were pink, and the color I sent was blue. I immediately rung my mother-in-law up, and she said blue was boring in the summer, and the salmon color was nicer. The flower girl dresses had a pale blue sash on. The suits were navy, and the color scheme in the reception venue was blue. I told her to just keep her money, and that we were going to do it ourselves. My mother-in-law still calls me spoiled because I hurt her feelings, and just wanted her money. Our second story comes from user Esther Loves Evie. My mom owns a farm, and every year she has a community day where various people volunteer to entertain the local children. I'm an artist, and I have a face paint stall where for 3 hours I paint faces for free with my own materials. An hour into the community day, an entitled mother enters the scene and asks me whether I've seen her daughter's phone. I say I saw a pinkish phone on the table, but that was a while ago, and I don't know where it is now. Turns out that was her daughter's phone, so naturally she then accuses me of stealing it. I told her she can check my bag, as I haven't left this seat for ages. She searches my phoneless bag, and then accuses a volunteer face painter for being in cahoots with me to steal the phone. It goes back and forth like this for a while, me denying, her accusing, and she ends up being so belligerent that I tell her to leave the property. She screams at me, telling me that a 22-year-old can't evict her, and she says that she wants to see the owner of the property. We find the owner, and she freaks out when I say, "Hi mom, can you kick this woman out?" She left in haste, cursing at me. Edit, thanks to all those awards and comments. I don't know what happened to the phone, but the experience did teach me two lessons. 1, Karens just look like regular folk, and 2, don't let their normal appearance fool you. They're nuts. And one more thing, 12-year-olds and expensive new iPhones are a bad combo. Our third story comes from user ILoveMe39. I'm 39, successful, and quite well off. My siblings, sadly, are not. My brother, 42, has 3 children. My sister, 35, also has 3, with 1 on the way. My youngest sister, 28, is married and pregnant, but she had nothing to do with the events of this post. We were all raised to believe that money doesn't matter, and all you need is to be happy with marriage and lots of kids to live, a happy life. Being poor and having lots of kids was somehow glorified. Maybe because that's the way our parents lived and wanted to convince themselves that they didn't fuck up. Fortunately for me, I didn't buy into that nonsense. I always knew I never wanted children, and I focused on my career and achieving success. Today I have my own house, wonderful pets, and a loving boyfriend. My family, however, seems to think that there's something wrong with my lifestyle. My parents have often commented that my 5-bedroom house is empty without kids running around. My siblings often tell me I'm selfish for not having any kids and actually enjoying my life. However, for all their disdain for my selfish lifestyle, it doesn't stop them from begging me for money. My brother and sister have called me and asked me to help pay their bills. Now, if it's something serious like clothes or school supplies for their kids, I'm willing to pitch in. But I always refuse when I'm asked to pay for trips for amusement parks, etc. I also paid for my parents to stay in a high-end assisted living facility. They're my parents. I felt that I owed them this much. I have moved them to a less luxurious facility because of something terrible they did. I'll make a post about that too if you're interested. However, I couldn't help but feel insulted when they sang praises for my siblings for breeding and following in their footsteps, and now my parents wish I had done the same. As if among all of their kids, I'm the biggest disappointment. For this reason, I've distanced myself from them. I only call or visit to check up on them, and I don't let them be a part of my life. The other day, I got a call from my sister asking if she, her husband, my brother, and his wife could come over. I said okay, and they proceeded to ask me to leave my fortune to their kids in equal portions, and if I did, they would stop asking me for financial help. They said this as if they were doing me a favor. "You don't have kids, so who are you gonna leave it to?" asked my brother. I told them I was going to leave my money to charities and that I don't owe them shit. The next morning I got a call from my dad telling me that they were disappointed in me, and I simply hung up. The one family member who has stood by me is my youngest sister. She actually has her stuff together, and I couldn't be more proud of her. Edit. Here's what my parents did to deserve the downgrade. After the altercation with my siblings, my parents tried a different strategy. They tried to sweet talk me, and suddenly their tune had changed from "you're selfish" to "aw, we didn't mean it, let's talk." So after they kept pestering me to have a word with them in person, I invited them over. Now my parents know well enough not to give chocolate to dogs, but my mom has tried to give them to my dogs on many occasions. And when I tell her off, she always comes back with, "But they like it, and I was just being nice." This time when they came over, I left them in the living room and went to the kitchen to get some refreshments. While I was there, one of my dogs came over to greet them, and I could see them from the kitchen. My mom petted him for a while, and then she reached into her purse and pulled out a bar of chocolate. She broke off a piece and was about to give it to him when I stormed over and knocked it out of her hands. My parents looked shocked, and I was enraged. Even after being told repeatedly that chocolate is bad for dogs, they just don't get it. When I asked my mom what the hell she was doing, my dad actually started yelling at me and told me that I was being rude. I told them directly that either they were complete idiots or they were intentionally trying to hurt my dog. I told them that I was sick of their BS and they were on a very thin ice with me. When they tried to argue back, I grabbed my dad by the arm and walked him out of the door. My mom followed. This was less than a month and a few days ago. They were moved to a less cushy facility. They won't be mistreated. I would never allow that to happen. But they'll have nutritious meals, medical care, and a television that they'll have to share with others. The nice, fully furnished mini apartment that they had earlier with all kinds of luxuries will soon be a distant memory. Our fourth story comes from user Transparent Word. I'll keep this short as the subject is the cause of a small childhood trauma for me. My parents have these friends who come over a week or two during the summer because we live close to the beach and they stay at our house rent-free. They bring along their daughter, who is the most entitled brat in existence. She's 16 or 17 and throws a tantrum whenever things don't go her way, and I can't ignore her because she'll start screaming or crying if I don't play with her the way that she wants. At 16, she still plays dress up, makeup, etc. And my parents force me to do whatever she wants because that's what a nice guest does. I had to give her my personal and favorite toys, dolls, gadgets, etc. because she wanted them and would cry and throw a fit if otherwise. My parents always promised me that they would buy me new ones to replace them, but never did. This year I begged my parents not to invite them over because it's not safe. At the moment, Romania is the COVID hotspot of Europe. I told them that if they come, they'll want to go to the beach, the aqua park, the regular park, the mall, etc. and that we cannot keep them inside the house. I broke down crying. I've been telling them for 14 years that they're toxic people, that they drain my energy, and I simply cannot stand them. My father finally admitted that the girl in question, their daughter, is truly entitled and a horrible brat, but we have to accept people as the way they are. Anyway, my mom got a call from the entitled mother, the girl's mother. She was trying to hint at the fact that they wanted to come over, to which my mom pointed out that we would not be home. She didn't want to tell them directly that they couldn't come, and was trying to play the "we're on holiday" card. Then EM got mad, told my mom that she already had her luggage ready for their trip, and it was unfair. That they always come to spend a few weeks every summer at our home, they consider it a hotel, and my mom asked if they would have come uninvited, to which the woman says yes because it's tradition. Of course my mom says this to my dad, and now he got angry. I hope that they'll finally realize that their friends can be toxic and they really don't care about their feelings. One memory in particular that's caused me to hate them, I know it's a strong word, was when I used to have a tradition to go with my best friend to her grandma's house for a week during the summer, and her grandma would invite me, of course. And I went there 10 consecutive summers. And then one year my parents didn't allow me to go because these people were coming over and they needed someone to babysit their daughter, who was 15 at the time. I had to break the most important tradition in my life because they couldn't come a week earlier or later. I know it's a bit hypocritical on my side for that, but why was their tradition more important than mine? And then my parents start telling me that my best friend never makes time for me or doesn't care about me, when in reality they don't let me spend our available weeks together. Our fifth and final story comes from user Fred Z Red. My mother is a mega Karen, and I have 16 years of stories to tell about her entitlement. And here's yet another one. This happened in 2004 when I was 14. We just moved from Australia to New Zealand, and the town that we had moved into had a population around 12,000 people, which was a big step up from the town we moved from, around 2,000 people. It seemed like my mom's entitlement got worse by having an extra 10,000 people for her to annoy. Within a month, my sister and I'd settle into our new schools, and our dearest mother found her preferred, cheapest grocery store to shop at. I should mention that my mom is not disabled, but did that stop her from parking in the disabled parking spot? No. The first month actually went fine, until my mother got lazy. Whenever we went grocery shopping, she would always complain, while walking towards the entrance, that there was never anyone parked in the disabled spot. And she would say things like, "I don't see why I'm not allowed to park there," and "There's nobody in this damn town that needs it anyway." This last comment was total BS on her part, as there was a paraplegic who lived in the town, which she knew about. And regardless, those spaces are for disabled people, not her. Then, one day, me and my sister were in the car while Mom was driving to the grocery store. We usually parked close to the front door, but to the side there were usually a few spare parking spots. I was expecting her to stop there, but she didn't. Instead, she drove all the way to the front and parked in the disabled parking spot. "Mom, this is a disabled parking. You can't park here." "Of course I can. This spot is vacant." "It's illegal for you to park here. You'll get a fine." "No, I won't. Trust me, I have the right to park here if there's no disabled person parked here. I don't see any disabled person, do you?" "Whatever, Mom, but you're going to get a fine." I got out of the car and walked across the street to the park. I didn't want to be seen with my mom, but I wanted to keep an eye out for the parking police officer or police person who I knew would come. Even in a small town, the police here were very diligent about rule breakers. And sure enough, 10 minutes later, I saw a policeman walk up to the car, check the license and lack of disabled sticker, and write a ticket and place it right on her windscreen. I sent Mother Dearest a text that I'd meet her at the petrol station when she was done. I didn't want to be seen getting into her car, but I made sure to hang around so I could see her reaction when she saw the fine. Sure enough, 10 minutes later, I saw my mom come out of the store and see the ticket, and she freaked out. She started cursing and stomping her feet on the ground like a child that lost their toy. Only in this case, it was a fine of $80. I chuckled to myself as I walked to the petrol station a few blocks over. I got there a few minutes before my mom did, and I could see the anger on her face as she got out of the car. She proceeded to slam the door and start filling up her tank. Me, faking concern, "What's wrong, Mom?" "Shut your mouth." I started smiling when I got into the car, and when we got home, my mom got straight on the phone to debate the parking fine. I overheard the call. Yeah, I got a fine for parking in an empty parking spot. There was no one else parked there. But I had to park there because, I had a bad leg, and I can't walk for... What? No, I don't have a sticker, but that doesn't matter. No, hold on. What? But no, disabled? No, but... Oh, you're stupid. Yeah, I'm not paying this fine. And then she hung up. A month later, I assumed she paid the fine, but obviously not. She got a letter in the mail regarding an unpaid fine, which is now $100 due to a relayed payment. My mom went to the courthouse and paid it, but I didn't hear the end of it for 3 months after that, as she complained about it any chance she got, making out that she was the victim. I wish I could say that she learned her lesson, but she didn't. She parked there a few more times and in shock and horror got more fines. A Karen never learns. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ailurus, aka Panda Daddy, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, let me know in the comments down below. And leave a like if you liked the video. And if you're new to my channel, go ahead and subscribe, fam. What you doing watching videos and not subscribing? And if you're old, make sure to hit that bell so you get these notifications every time. Seriously, hit that bell. Go ahead and take a look at this picture. Make sure it looks exactly like that so you get my notifications every time. A lot of you guys still like this series of r/EntitledParents, so I chose to give you another installment on a good old Tuesday afternoon. So I hope you enjoyed that. And as always, we gotta thank the Patreon supporters, so thank you to Taki, Bunny Boo, Dustin, Canned Eggplant, Kyle, Postmark, Keith Myers, Hannah, Pixie Art 5, Lillerin Green, Catherine Taylor, Jason, Arolina, Rajin, Clara, John Robinson, Ethan, Vermont, Noob Slurb, Trenton Golden, Trojan, Yeetmaster, Arjen, Noah, Brody, Muppy Luhu, Cleric, Sir Teacup, Immortal EXE, and Trey. Thank you so much for your support. It is greatly appreciated. And if you want to help support the channel, there's 2 links in the description, one to my Patreon and one to my merch store. Both funds go directly into the channel so we can maintain what's happening here. And as always, stay zesty.